Now at 10, stunning revelations in the police response at Robb Elementary.
I was misled.
Tonight, the Texas governor on the defense as more scrutiny surfaces on the timeline.
The Uvalde School District's police department hosted active shooter training just 2 months ago. We'll tell you what local law enforcement learned and how it balances with their decision-making Tuesday.
There's no excuse for that.
Moments before the shooter entered Robb Elementary School, teachers say they heard him fire gunshots right outside.
And I was like, there's a guy with a gun. Oh my God, get down.
Some of those bullets went flying through this fourth grade teacher's classroom window. KENS 5 News at 10 starts right now.
Dramatic updates tonight in the Uvalde school shooting.
DPS now admits police made a major mistake not barging into the classrooms earlier. As a shooter murdered 19 children and 2 teachers, nearly 20 officers waited out in the hallway, even as kids called 911 begging for help. Tonight, Texas DPS says this was a wrong decision.
We are following several developments, all new at 10. The active shooter training Uvalde police officers received just 2 months before this crisis.
And for the first time, we are hearing from a teacher trapped inside the school on how she escaped.
Plus, new insight into the controlled chaos at the hospital to save survivors.
We're bringing you live team coverage at 10. We begin with Henry Ramos, who anchors our coverage from Uvalde.
Henry, the big question tonight, why did police wait so long to take down the shooter?
That is what everyone wants to know. Sharon and Deborah, good evening to you. Well, Texas DPS says that the commander treated this as a barricaded situation, as if someone was barricaded, as if children were not in danger instead of an active shooter situation. And that's despite the fact that students inside were calling 911 from inside. Now, DPS gave us a new timeline today on how they say this mass shooting unfolded Tuesday. The shooter entered the school at 11:33 a.m. through a propped open door. It took until 12:50 for police to confront him and kill him. That is 1 hour and 17 minutes the suspect's been inside the school. Governor Greg Abbott pretty fired up today, saying that he was misled about the timeline, and that is why he gave inaccurate information about the law enforcement response.
There are people who deserve answers the most, and those are the families whose lives have been destroyed. They need answers that are accurate, and it is inexcusable that they may have suffered from any inaccurate information whatsoever.
So now Abbott is calling on the FBI and Texas Rangers to get to the bottom of what happened. We'll dive much deeper into the mistakes that left students and their teachers vulnerable coming up in 2 minutes. But first, authorities say the shooter fired shots outside the school before going in, and those bullets shot through a classroom. Well, tonight we're hearing firsthand on what those moments were like for teachers inside that room. I want to bring in my colleague right now, KENS 5's Alicia Nieves. Alicia, I was here with you when you interviewed that teacher here just a few hours ago. She gave you insight as to what happened in room 102.
That's right, and this is just another story of bravery that we're learning about, Henry. 2 teachers helped their students jump out of a window from the classroom that just moments before was shattered by bullets.
Tuesday morning, fourth grade teacher Nicole Ogburn heard loud bangs outside.
And I just stood up and looked out my window that was right there close by, and I was like, there's a guy with a gun. Oh my God, get down.
She says when she spotted the gunman, she moved quickly to make sure every child was lying on the ground.
As soon as I told my kids to get down, like all of a sudden shots were starting to be fired from outside into my classroom through the window.
She was in room 102. This map from DPS shows she was 3 doors down from where the shooter took the lives of 19 students and 2 teachers.
I just heard gunfire, and I heard it, and I kept hearing it, and it would stop for a minute, and it would go back on, and then all of a sudden it stopped.
She said no one in her classroom was hurt. When law enforcement came to the shattered window, she says children started jumping out and ran to the nearby funeral home to safety.
I want the blame to stop. Like, the only person here to blame is that person that came into my school and hurt my friends and hurt the students that I saw every day and I loved.
Tony Binieva's daughter, Trish, is Nicole's co-teacher.
She saw the shooter go past her classroom. She actually texted her husband and told him, "There's a shooter. We need help. I love you."
Trish helped the first group of students out the window. Her husband, a Border Patrol agent, on the other side.
Her knees were all scraped up trying to get out of there.
Pineda says it's hard for his family to eat and sleep, knowing so many people they knew didn't come out alive.
She said, "My best friend died." And then later on, she told me my other best friend died. My daughter's like, I might have to give up to teaching. If they don't have the protection, I might have to find another source of income.
So Trisha's husband is a Border Patrol agent. He was getting a haircut, apparently, at the time when the shooting happened. When he got word of it, the people at the barbershop gave him a weapon so he could have protection.
Wow.
When he got on scene. He helped many of those students evacuate himself. And I also learned that Trish and Nicole, after they evacuated the students to go to the funeral home right across the street, they immediately started calling their parents to let them know those children were safe.
That's what parents wanted to know in that time. It's that unknown. And their teachers calling their parents. It's that small, tight-knit community. Elisa, thank you so much for that reporting. And of course, those teachers doing everything that they can. And tonight, we've got new details about a series of events which left students vulnerable Tuesday. None have drawn more scrutiny than the massive breakdown in communication that kept officers in the hallway, even as children begged 911 dispatchers for help. KENS 5 reporter Matt Houston explains.
UCISD PD hosted active shooter training at Uvalde High School just 2 months ago. There, school officers would have heard this.
First and foremost, stop the killing.
Texas State University researchers helped develop this video showcasing the active shooter curriculum they created after Columbine. The feds endorsed their playbook, which is a nationwide gold standard.
When you first get there, you got a lot going on. Open door.
State law requires school officers to take this course, which says responders should first stop the shooter. But the training also says if an attacker is in an area where they're isolated, cannot escape, and can do no more harm, officers don't have to go in. Instead, they should wait until other first responders arrive, treating the situation as a barricaded subject. The problem?
There were children in that classroom that were at risk, and it was, in fact, still an active shooter situation and not a barricaded subject.
As many as 19 officers waited in the hallway even after 12:03, when a student first called 911 from inside the classroom. She called again at 12:16 and confirmed 8 or 9 kids were still alive.
At 12:47, she asked 911 to please send the police now.
Students were in near constant contact with 911 dispatchers for 47 minutes. The commander, UCISD's police chief, either did not get that message or he ignored it. At 12:50, a tactical team unlocked the door using a staff member's key and finally killed the shooter. We don't know whether this decision costs lives, but it certainly wasn't the only mistake made on Tuesday. 2 doors that should have been closed or locked were left open. The initial responder, the police officer who arrived to the scene first, mistook a teacher for the gunman and drove right past the actual suspect crouching behind a car. We're still waiting on DPS to get back to us on communication problems potentially between the 911 call center and the command inside. I'm Matt Houston, KENS 5.
All right, thanks so much, Matt, for that report. And let's continue our team coverage tonight with Michael Wooten live at Uvalde Memorial Hospital. And Michael, it was a fight to save lives there on Tuesday.
Yeah, 15 patients from Robb Elementary were rushed here to Uvalde Memorial. It is a small community hospital where most workers never could have fathomed that they would deal with this type of mass casualty event. Their training certainly put to the test. Tonight, we're learning more about the controlled chaos that took place here in the aftermath of that shooting.
It was dramatic.
With not enough ambulances to transport so many victims, most of the 11 children rushed to the hospital arrived on a school bus, the driver unsure of where to drop them off.
The school bus actually came to the main entrance instead of to the emergency room area. So those people, those children ended up being brought in through the main lobby of the hospital.
With an ER physician and advanced practitioner already on hand, the team triaged and quickly airlifted 4 kids and 1 adult to hospitals in San Antonio. Meanwhile, help arrived to treat the others, surgeons, specialists, and family doctors filling the emergency department.
I think just about all of the ones that could pull away came into the emergency room and assisted with the care of those patients.
Their patients' physical injuries healed enough to be discharged, but the hospital's CEO says the emotional trauma for everyone involved may never go away.
A lot of the folks in the emergency room and throughout our hospital as a whole either knew people there, had relatives there. How do you tell your child that 3 of their friends were, they're not going to see them again? And so they're dealing with that as staff. And so we're trying to provide them with support.
Support that will be needed with many difficult days ahead. The hospital is not only offering counseling to the staff, but also time off so that they can cope, they can be with their families, and also so that they can attend the funerals. There will be 21 of those in the coming days in this small community. Other hospitals throughout the region are offering staff to cover the shifts so that folks here can attend. Reporting live at Uvalde Memorial Hospital, I'm Michael Wooten, KENS 5.
Thank you, Michael. We'll continue our live team coverage from Uvalde in a few minutes. Now, perspective from San Antonio Police Chief William McManus.
He told us today his department would have had a quick response time in the case of a school shooting. The policy for officers is to immediately neutralize the threat.
No question what we do if the shooting is ongoing. We're going to go in. Whether it's 1 officer, whether it's 2, whether it's 3.
Chief McManus wants to make clear he is not making judgment on the Uvalde Police Department's response, but he said we must take action to prevent future tragedies.
I don't want to see this end as having a bunch of conversations about how horrible this is. I want to see the conversation shift to how do we address this?
McManus says that means increasing security in all of our local schools.
How many times have I walked into a building to talk to a career day or read to kids in school, and the security is sign in at the desk, and that's it. Doors are open, unlocked. And that's problematic.
The chief says no one should be able to walk into any school.
This is how we're going to fix this problem. We are going to tighten security at our schools, and we're going to lock the doors. You're going to have to be buzzed in. We're going to have security. I mean, there's got to be a variety of a checklist of measures that are taken to protect our kids.
McManus says he plans to meet with each school district in the area over this summer and discuss how to set up fail-safe, consistent security.
Harlandale ISD is ending the school year early in response to the Uvalde school shooting. The district posted on Twitter the last day of school will be next Friday, June 3rd, instead of June 14th. The superintendent addressed safety concerns and says the decision is in the best interests of students and staff.
Hello, ma'am. How are you? Thank you. Check in right here at the front office. They'll take care of you, ma'am. Thank you. You're awesome.
To help ease anxiety after the deadly shootings in Uvalde, a Northside ISD principal is finding a new way to keep his school safe.
Sean McKenzie moved his entire office into the foyer to check in parents.
We needed somebody here to check people in. Plus, it's the end of the year, so we have a lot of traffic with field trips, ceremonies, and so we wanted a way for parents to feel safe during a time of anxiety.
Principal McKenzie says he cares about his students and will do anything to protect them.
Funeral arrangements have been made for some of the 21 people who lost their lives in Uvalde. The first funeral mass will be held May 31st for Mary Garza. For a full list, head to KENS5.com.
If you're looking for ways to help the Uvalde community, we have an entire list on KENS5.com/Uvalde Help. There, you'll find ways to donate to relief funds for victims.
Tonight, there had been speculation that the shooter at Robb Elementary had been involved in a foiled mass casualty plot 4 years ago. Well, tonight, the county attorney is shutting those rumors down.
I asked you here, Henry, because I felt like I need to set the record straight.
Uvalde County Attorney John Dotson is revealing to KENS 5 the juvenile records of Salvador Ramos. He's the gunman who police say shot and killed 19 children and 2 teachers and injured several others at Robb Elementary.
It hits close to home. It's a tragedy.
In 2018, KENS 5 reported about the arrest of a 13 and 14-year-old who were infatuated with the Columbine High School shooting and were planning to carry out an attack this year at a Uvalde school. But Ramos was not one of those teens arrested in that case.
But I can assure you and the rest of the world that he was not a part of that in any form or fashion, which they looked at all the names of the others that might have been on the friends list of everything, because the ranger conducted the investigation.
Dotson is the juvenile prosecutor for the county. He looked up the records and even contacted the Texas Ranger assigned to that case.
That the shooter was never involved with a threat against the school prior to this incident. He had no record. And I can say that. And I'm not violating any confidentiality rules because they die when somebody dies.
Dotson says his focus right now is helping the victims in his community, making sure that they have the resources that they need, either financially or counseling. And of course, they're coming from all over. And Sharon and Deborah, before I leave you tonight, you can see right behind me here at the heart of this community, it's almost 10:30 at night, and people are still here paying their respects, showing their love for this community.
All right, Henry, yes, a very close community. Thank you.
President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden will be in Uvalde Sunday to help console families and honor victims. The president will also meet with community leaders and religious leaders. We are still waiting on the exact timing of the visit. We'll have live coverage on air and online.
Another interruption during a news conference by Governor Greg Abbott today. Abbott was giving an update about state resources provided for victims. And that's when Texas Senator Roland Gutierrez spoke up.
I don't know how to express the loss of the families that I've talked to. And I know you feel it too. We have to do something, man. Your own colleagues are telling me an 18-year-old shouldn't have a gun. This is enough. Call us back, man.
Gutierrez is asking Abbott to call a special session of the Texas legislature to address the shooting. The senator apologized for interrupting the news conference, saying it wasn't meant to be a political stunt on his behalf. He then walked out of the auditorium. Of course, Beto O'Rourke confronted Governor Abbott during another news conference earlier this week. He is opposing Abbott in the governor's race.
Tonight, the National Rifle Association is holding its annual convention in Houston. In light of the Uvalde shooting, gun safety groups called on the NRA to cancel, but it moved forward, putting the fight over gun restrictions at center stage. Senator Ted Cruz and former President Donald Trump were headliners. Governor Abbott canceled his in-person speech, but sent pre-recorded remarks.
There are thousands of laws on the books across the country that limit the owning or using of firearms. Laws that have not stopped madmen from carrying out evil acts.
Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick also withdrew from the event, mentioning the victims and families as part of his reason for not attending.
Turning to the weather, and a warm Friday night heading into what's going to be a hot Memorial Day weekend. The unofficial start to summer will definitely be one you've got to pay attention to your body and prepare your body for spending time outdoors. Let's head outside tonight with a nice shot over 281 and the Quarry Market to your left. Temperature still 86. It's only a couple of degrees away from the average high this time of year. East wind just under 10 miles an hour, but the number that sticks out, the dew point, up into the mid 60s. So we're definitely feeling the humidity today. And currently we're just now getting out of the 90s down to the south along I-35 at Pearsall, even Pleasanton at 88, a nice 77 up in Kerrville. Look at these highs today. 101s were popular, 100 Floresville, 97 at New Braunfels, and just like Eagle Pass, we hit 99 degrees today, this close to the record from 2011 of 100. 100 and 10 full degrees above average. Air quality a problem today. You know, we were good yesterday during the ozone action day, but we slipped to moderate. Look at Austin, went to an unhealthy for all groups. Houston was upgraded to unhealthy for sensitive. They were there at unhealthy in red yesterday. We don't have to worry about ozone getting cooked up when the winds are picking up. It's going to be a windy weekend, especially in the afternoons and evenings on Saturday, Sunday, even Memorial Day Monday. Look at these gusts near 30 miles per hour tomorrow. As high pressure stays in control, it's going to be hard to find a rain chance even heading into next week. So the 7-day forecast will show you this hot Memorial Day weekend. Remember, make sure you've got SPF. Make sure you're hydrating. If you're going to be outdoors over the weekend, you've got 96 waiting for you on Memorial Day. We'll slip a few degrees, but still not average for this time of year, with a slight chance of rain by Wednesday. We're back after this.
The city of Uvalde is a close-knit community, and many of its 16,000 residents have a personal connection to one or more of the victims.
Tiffany Liu spoke with a doctor who's cared for 2 of the children since they were born.
I knew that something was going on.
Like the rest of us,
It just changed every minute.
Dr. John Preddy saw as names were released,
I honestly didn't believe it.
one by one.
Yeah, it was monstrous what was happening. If there are any heroes in this whole thing, it's the little kids in those rooms and the teachers.
People are hurting with and for the families, even if they don't know the victims personally.
What they had to go through is incomprehensible to me.
But for this family doctor, he does.
I've been taking care of them since, they were born. Even before they were born, I delivered them, so.
From their first heartbeat, Dr. Preddy holds on to a decade of watching 2 of the students grow.
This is Nave Bravo.
She's one of your patients?
Yes, yeah, she is. Rogelio Torres, we all miss you. And, I hope they're in a better place now than they were.
In Uvalde, I'm Tiffany Liu.
Uvalde native Matthew McConaughey has been in his hometown doing what he can to help. Congressman Tony Gonzalez tweeted this photo tonight showing himself and McConaughey with a group of community members. As the Uvalde community continues to reel from Tuesday's mass shooting, community members in Castroville are lending a helping hand.
Local business leaders across South Texas have set up 10 locations selling barbecue plates. All supplies for plate sales have been donated by the community. One volunteer stresses the importance of supporting Uvalde.
No amount of money can bring back what you've lost, but I know I have kids that are the age of the people that were affected, and we don't plan for anything like that to happen. And no matter what, I couldn't even imagine losing my child and then not being able to bury him.
All proceeds go toward victims' families.
And that's just one of the many ways you and your family can help our neighbors in Uvalde. We've got an entire list on KENS5.com/Uvalde help. There, you'll find ways to donate to relief funds for victims, including how to make an appointment to a blood drive near you. This has been a week filled with so much tragedy. We know it's been hard for many of you, and we want to use this time to honor the 19 children and 2 teachers who were killed in Uvalde this week.
Tonight, KENS 5 is standing for Uvalde and remembering the 21 lives lost.